Disassembling the cylinder head, a detailed step-by-step guide. Disassembling a cylinder head is a critical part of engine maintenance or rebuild, often done to inspect, repair, or port the head for better performance. This process requires mechanical knowledge, proper tools, and safety precautions, as working on engines involves heavy parts, hot components, and potential hazards like sharp edges or residual fluids. Always consult your vehicle's service manual for model-specific instructions, as steps can vary by engine type, e.g., inline 4, V6, or V8. Wear safety gear including gloves, eye protection, and work in a well-ventilated area. If you're not experienced, consider professional help to avoid damage. Below, I'll break it down into the 3 main phases: removing the cylinder head from the engine, stripping it of valves, springs, and other components, and thoroughly cleaning it. This guide draws from standard automotive practices for most internal combustion engines. Phase 1. Removing the cylinder head from the engine. Removing the cylinder head involves disconnecting ancillary systems, relieving pressure, and carefully unbolting the head to avoid warping the gasket surface or damaging components. Expect this to take several hours, and have a torque wrench, socket set, and engine hoister stand ready. The engine should be cool to prevent burns or thermal stress. Prepare the vehicle in engine bay. Park the vehicle on a flat surface, engage the parking brake, and disconnect the negative battery terminal to prevent electrical shorts. Drain the coolant from the radiator and engine block, via the petcock or lower hose, into a suitable container for proper disposal. Also, drain the engine oil if necessary to avoid spills. Remove any obstructing components like the air intake, throttle body, or accessories, e.g., alternator, power steering pump, that block access to the head. Label and bag bolts for reassembly. Disconnect fuel, electrical, and vacuum lines. Relieve fuel pressure by removing the fuel pump fuse and cranking the engine briefly, then disconnect the fuel lines. Use rags to catch spills. Unplug electrical connectors for injectors, sensors, e.g., camshaft position, coolant temperature, and ignition coils or wires. Disconnect vacuum hoses, throttle cables, and PCV lines. Cap open lines to prevent contamination. Remove intake and exhaust manifolds. Unbolt and remove the intake manifold, typically held by nuts or bolts. Spray with penetrating oil if seized. Support it with a jack if heavy. Disconnect the exhaust manifold by removing its bolts or studs from the head. If it's stuck due to heat expansion, apply penetrating oil and use a breaker bar. On some engines, you may need to remove the entire exhaust system first. Remove the rocker cover and valve train components. Unscrew the rocker cover bolts or nuts in a crisscross pattern to avoid warping. Gently pry the cover off if sealed with gasket material. Remove the rocker arms, push rods, if applicable, and lifters. Keep them organized by cylinder number, e.g., label 1 to 8 for AV8, to maintain firing order during reassembly. For overhead cam engines, remove the timing belt/chain and camshafts first. Rotate the crankshaft to TDC, top dead center, on the compression stroke for the first cylinder. Remove the cylinder head bolts. This is crucial. Head bolts must be loosened in the reverse of the tightening sequence, usually outward from center, to prevent warping. Consult your manual for the exact pattern. Common sequences start from the center and spiral out. Use a torque wrench in reverse, loosen mode, or a breaker bar. Bolts are often torque to yield, TTY, so they may need replacement. If bolts are seized, apply heat, torch, sparingly or use an impact wrench, but avoid stripping threads. For stuck heads, common due to gasket adhesion, insert a flathead screwdriver or chisel between the head and block, tap gently with a rubber mallet, or use the rope trick. Drop a rope into the cylinder via the spark plug hole, rotate the crankshaft to push the rope against the piston, then pry the head loose. Avoid excessive force to prevent cracking. Lift and remove the head. Once bolts are out, lift the head straight up and off the block. It may be heavy, 20 to 50 pounds, so use an engine hoist or have a helper. Inspect the head gasket for damage and the block deck for flatness. Cover the block openings with clean rags to prevent debris entry. Set the head on a clean workbench. If the head doesn't budge, double-check for missed bolts or hidden components like coolant passages. Warped heads may require machining later. Phase 2, stripping the cylinder head of valves, springs, and other components. With the head removed, disassembly focuses on the valve train. This requires a valve spring compressor tool, manual or pneumatic, pliers, and a clean workspace. Work on one valve at a time to avoid mixing parts. Valves are precisely fitted, so inspect for wear, e.g., burnt seats, bent stems. Initial preparation. Place the head on wooden blocks to protect the mating surfaces. If not already done, remove any remaining camshaft bearings, oil gallery plugs, or spark plug threads. Number the valves, e.g., intake/exhaust, in their positions with tape or marker for reassembly. Compress and remove valve springs. Position the spring compressor over the first valve, align the forks with the keeper groove. For overhead valve, OHV, heads, this is straightforward. For overhead cam, OHC, you may need an angled compressor. Compress the spring firmly but evenly until the keepers, collets or locks, are exposed at the top of the valve stem. Use needle nose pliers or a magnetic tool to remove the keepers, they can fly out, so wear eye protection. Slowly release the compressor. Remove the spring retainer, cap, the spring itself, and any seals or guides. If seals are stuck, twist gently. Repeat for all valves, typically 2 per cylinder, intake and exhaust. For dual spring setups, remove the inner spring first if applicable. Extract the valves. Once the spring is off, pull the valve straight out of the guide from the combustion chamber side. If stuck, tap lightly with a plastic mallet or use valve pliers. Inspect each valve, check for carbon buildup on the head, stem wear, or margin damage. Measure stem diameter and face angle if possible. Remove valve guides, seals, or rotator caps if present, these may require a puller tool. Remove other components. Extract valve stem seals, if not already done, using a seal puller or pliers, twist and pull carefully to avoid damaging the stem. If the head has hydraulic lifters or roller rockers, remove them now. For porting prep, note any inserts or sleeves. Finally, remove any remaining hardware like freeze plugs or oil passages. Store parts in labeled trays or boxes. If reusing, clean keepers and springs separately. This phase often reveals issues like worn guides needing replacement. Phase 3, cleaning the cylinder head thoroughly. Cleaning removes carbon deposits, from combustion, oil residue, from lubrication, and debris, from wear or buildup, restoring the head for inspection or porting. A clean head ensures accurate measurements and prevents contamination during reassembly. Use non-abrasive methods to avoid scratching aluminum surfaces, common in modern heads. Initial degreasing and soaking. Wipe off loose debris with a rag or compressed air. For heavy oil, spray with a degreaser like brake cleaner or simple green. Soak the head in a parts washer or tub with a carbon-dissolving solution, e.g., Chem Dip, oven cleaner, or ATF/acetone mix, for 1 to 24 hours, depending on buildup. Avoid harsh acids on aluminum, test first. Submerge valves separately if needed. Removing carbon deposits. For combustion chambers and ports, use a plastic scraper or rounded hacksaw blade to gently scrape carbon without gouging. Follow with a wire brush, brass for soft deposits, or Scotch-Brite pad. On valves, mount the valve stem in a drill, chuck it, spin at low speed, and polish with Scotch-Brite or fine sandpaper dipped in solvent. For heads, apply walnut shell blasting or baking soda media if available, DIY, mix baking soda with water and blast via compressor. For stubborn spots, use Seafoam or CRC GDI cleaner sprayed on, let sit, then scrub. Avoid wire wheels on sealing surfaces. Removing oil and debris. Rinse with hot soapy water or a pressure washer, low pressure to avoid warping. Use a stiff nylon brush for oil passages and galleries, flush with carb cleaner. For ports and chambers, run a flexible board brush or pipe cleaner through. If decarbonizing in place was missed, a water drip method, idle engine with water in intake, isn't applicable now, but soaking works. Dry thoroughly with compressed air and rags. Inspect for remaining residue under good lighting, repeat if needed. Final inspection and protection. Check for cracks, dye penetrant test, or warping, straight edge and feeler gauge. Blow out all passages. Apply a light oil coat to prevent corrosion during storage. Proper cleaning can reveal issues like scored valves or clogged guides. Dispose of chemicals responsibly. For cylinder head porting, where you'll smooth and enlarge ports for better airflow, you'll need specialized tools. Viewers, be sure to visit our website to see all our USA-made carbide burr tools for cylinder head porting. They're precision engineered for professional results without excessive material removal.